Hello everyone. We have a good news before us that we've seen the sun smiling. In spite of all the troubles and all the news with regards to climate change and the environmental degradation that is happening, is it a good sign to see that the sun is smiling? Well, let's know more about it. We are talking about a picture that was captured by NASA's observatory, who's looking into exclusively on the movements of the sun, its details, and they have really told us that yes, the sun is smiling. Now, what does this particular smiling sun mean in astronomical terms? What are its possible effects? And let us understand what is this organization and what do they do. So in all this video, we're going to talk about these things. Now, as far as what has happened and what images have been captured, the Solar Dynamics Observatory, which is basically a mission of NASA, is the one who's captured a picture of the sun when the sun is smiling in inverted commas. That's how it looks like in terms of interpretation, that the sun is smiling. Well, the dark patches that are available on the sun, they are seen in the ultraviolet light, and they are basically known as coronal holes. So the patches that have been identified or captured in that image, they, when seen in ultraviolet light, they're basically known as coronal holes. Now, the human eye cannot perceive these wavelengths of sunlight, all right? So the solar physicists have used telescopes that can image the sun in extreme ultraviolet spectrum. So it is not visible to naked eye, and our eyes are not suitable to capturing the images through these ultraviolet spectrum. In that sense, telescopes, specialized vehicles, specialized instruments have been used in this regard. Now, these particular patches are basically regions where fast solar wind gushes into the space and makes these particular regions cooler. This is a particular property that has been identified of these coral holes in these patches, and this is how we've got the idea that the sun is smiling. These particular winds that we're talking about actually have the capacity of moving at 1.8 million miles per hour. Now, even though the sun is smiling, what could possibly be the effects of such kind of an image, such kind of a capture? Now, according to the spaceweather.com, which is basically a website to track all the solar activities, all right, they have basically told us that the earth could witness an intense solar storm because of this particular image. We see that the ultraviolet rays which are coming from the sun, these ultraviolet rays which are coming from the sun, they basically show us the origin of this particular solar storm, which can have effects like power outages, cell phone disruptions, delay in packages because planes might have to reroute from the poles, and which is obviously a major disruption if you look at a global scale. These phenomena also send streams of electrical and charges and magnetic field towards the earth. All right, so they are not really great effects that we're expecting out of this particular shining of or smiling of the sun, for that matter. So in that sense, according to the space observatory, it is not a great sign that way. But nevertheless, the world has shown a lot of excitement before Halloween at these images, which actually look like the sun is smiling, and that the smiling sun is seen as more like jack-o'-lantern, and it's almost like getting ready for the Halloween. So it comes at a time when it resembles a lot to the images of the pumpkin and the Halloween, and in that sense, a lot of people around the world, especially those celebrating Halloween, are excited about these particular images. Now, if we are to look at this particular observatory who is entrusted with this responsibility and who has come up with this particular image, they are basically the first mission. It is the first mission to be launched under NASA's Living with a Star program, all right, which is being designed to particularly look into the causes of solar variability and its possible impacts on Earth. So it's studying exclusively solar, the sun, and what such changes that is happening in the sun can have possible effects on Earth. The aim is basically to understand the influence of the sun on earth. This is very, very simple, self-explanatory and extremely important. It's to understand the influence of the sun on earth. It also aims to study the solar atmosphere on small scales of space and time, and also in multiple wavelength. As I told you that it's not possible for human eye to often study that, so specialized devices are being used for such cases. Also, this particular SDO has been looking into the sun's magnetic field, how it is generated and how it is structured. It is also looking into how the stored magnetic energy is basically converted and released into the heliosphere and geospace in the form of energetic particles and solar wind. All right, so we are looking at very specific solar radiation and specific effects of this particular radiation, the magnetic energy that is being coming and how it is being released into the sphere and the geospace basically, and the possible effects that it could have. So since 2010, basically this particular observatory has been looking into the sun. All right, on 11th of February, it was basically launched and is a part of NASA's Living with a Star or LWS program. At present, it uses 13 different wavelengths of light to highlight a particular part of the sun's atmosphere. Now, NASA, of course, is something which is globally known. It studies Earth, it studies the climate, the sun, the solar system, and much more. Actually, NASA basically conducts research, testing, and development of aeronautics, including the propulsion, supersonic flights, all right, and develops space technologies which enable it to undertake further exploration and help understand and benefit life on Earth. It also leads a mission to Moon and to Mars. All right, so a lot of such futuristic explorations are one which are conducted in NASA, and this particular one which came out is talking about the sun. So this is what we have noticed through NASA, the picture, the image of the sun and the possible effects that can basically happen, and something that we'll have to wait and watch as to what we see in terms of the effect of this smiling sun. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let us know by liking it and also sharing it with your friends, telling them that smiling cannot always be for the good. It may have had different kind of effects in this regard. Subscribe us for future videos by Legacy IAS.